Sound of birdsong. Then a sudden metallic clang. The opulent stables of Toad Hall. Godfrey, a stately but perpetually grumpy grey and white horse, is meticulously brushing his own flank with a specialized brush held expertly in his mouth. Toad, dressed in immaculate cream riding breeches and a ridiculously tall leather helmet, bursts in, carrying a sparkling silver trophy that is far too large for any normal competition. Toad is vibrating with manic energy. Toad, Godfrey, my dear fellow, stop faffing about with the personal grooming. We have news. Glorious, potentially life-altering news. Godfrey sighs, rolling his eyes so hard they almost tick back into his skull. Godfrey, if it's another one of your ill-conceived schemes involving a hot air balloon or an experimental zero-emission combustion engine, I'm afraid I'm washing my hooves of it. Toad, I've got standards, you know. Toad, standards be damned. This is about history. This is about legacy. This is about finally proving that the sheer, magnificent quality of breeding that is represented in the Toad Hall portfolio, namely, you, is second to none. Toad gestures grandly toward a large, slightly crumpled poster nailed crookedly to the stable door. The poster reads, "The Grand National Rye Invitational, held at Royal Ascot." Godfrey slowly ambles over to read it, squinting. Godfrey, Ascot? The Grand National? That's 4.5 miles. 30 fences, and a risk of crippling injury. I thought we were aiming for the village gymkhana dressage competition. I practiced my trot. Toad, dressage is for those who lack panache. Godfrey, this is the steeplechase, the epitome of British sporting excellence, and I've already put your name forward. Entry accepted. Godfrey lets out a sound somewhere between a nervous whinny and a Yorkshireman choking on a scone. Godfrey, you did what now? Without consulting me? I happen to be a horse of a certain age. Toad, my ligaments are artisanal. My joints crackle like bacon on a bonfire. I require gentle canters and perhaps a nice, flat paddock, not Beecher's Brook. Toad, nonsense. A horse of your pedigree thrives on competition. Besides, I've already designed our racing silks. They are a magnificent shade of tangerine, highly visible. And guess who will be guiding you across the finish line? Toad puffs out his chest, pointing a thumb at himself. Godfrey, don't you dare say it. Toad, your humble servant, J. Thaddeus Toad, Esquire, your jockey. Godfrey stares in utter defeat. Godfrey, you're a liability. Toad, you crash cars, you overturn barges, you set fire to picnics. You're entirely too heavy for my refined frame, and you have the balance of a drunken scarecrow in a hurricane. This is a death wish, for both of us. Toad, death wish? Poppycock. It's a legacy wish. We shall be magnificent. Now, let's get you accustomed to these starting gates I've had constructed. Toad pulls a cord. A flimsy, poorly constructed wooden starting gate dramatically collapses into a pile of splintered wood. Godfrey, see, already we're failing at the premise. The pub is moderately busy. Daniel Nate is polishing glasses behind the bar, looking weary but professional. The regulars are gathered. Sam Payton, Pat Clifton, Bill Clutterbuck, and Sue Pettit are nursing various pints. Daniel, so, just to clarify, Toad is genuinely entering a championship horse into the Grand National, which is usually in Liverpool, but this one is apparently at Ascot, and he intends to ride him personally. Pat Clifton, that's Toad for you, Daniel. Whenever he gets a whim, he goes all in. Usually ends up with half the village needing rescuing. Sam Payton, sly grin. Well, at least we won't need the ladder this time. Might need a very large net, though. Dick Spanner PI stands leaning against the jukebox, his trench coat catching the saloon light. Dick Spanner PI. The whole scheme smells like cheap perfume and desperation. A high-stakes gamble, Daniel. But then again, this town runs on high-stakes gambles. It's the grease on the hinge of the impossible. Bill Clutterbuck. The boy's got a point. Daniel, you're new here, lad. You think this is weird? I once saw Toad try to race a lawnmower against a herd of stampeding badgers. Daniel, I'm just trying to figure out which reality I'm in. Back home, rich guys don't ride their own dressage horses into steeplechases. Sue Pettit, brightly, but that's the joy of Rye. Daniel, anything is possible, as long as everyone is safe. We must ensure Godfrey's welfare. The door bursts open. Spuds McKenzie and Joe Camel swagger in, dressed in their characteristic mismatched gear. Spuds is agitated. Joe looks cool but focused. Spuds Mackenzie. Right. Barman. Get us a pint of something illegal. And a scotch for my main man. Joe. We need to talk serious cash. Daniel. We only have regular, legal ales. Spuds. Joe Camel. Geordie accent. Never mind. Danny. Lad. We've been calculating the odds for this Ascot caper. We could make a mint. Everyone is betting against Toad and Godfrey. The odds are astronomical. Spuds Mackenzie. Astronomical. It's like finding a £50 note in a pigeon's nest. We put $1,000 on Godfrey. If he somehow doesn't collapse from sheer humiliation, we're rich. Sam Payton. £1,000? That's a risky bet, fellas. Joe Camel. Nah. It's an investment in chaos, Sam. And chaos pays dividends. Provided we can actually find a betting office that takes our kind of action without asking too many questions about our primary sources of income. Spuds Mackenzie. We look like respectable gentlemen. He adjusts his olive trench coat, which is stained. We just need to find a clerk who hasn't been corrupted by the system. Dick Spanner PI. Good luck finding a non-corrupted betting clerk. Spuds. Might as well ask a rat for a tax receipt. Daniel. So we're all going to Ascot, then? For the potential tragedy? Pat Clifton. Bound to be a good day out. Daniel. We're all meeting up with Dawdle and Barney and the others near the main stand. Make sure you don't wear anything too flashy. The Ascot lot are a bit particular. Daniel nods, knowing that particular means he's about to witness a full-scale social disaster involving his friends. Godfrey is standing rigidly, looking utterly miserable. Toad is perched precariously on his back, trying to master the low-speed trot. Toad. Higher, higher, my noble steed. We need elevation. We need air. Godfrey. Muttering. I'm giving you a trot. Toad. A gentle trot. Any higher and I'm going to throw out my sacroiliac joint. I swear. I feel like a porcelain doll on a washing machine. Toad slides slightly to the left, grabbing desperately at the reins. Toad. Focus. Godfrey. We must have impeccable form. We need to scare off the competition. Off to the side. Corky, the corkscrew-headed factory worker, is timing them with a stopwatch, looking dutiful but confused. Nat and Trip are watching. Nat drinking from a thermos. Trip polishing his skateboard. Nat. Oh, Toad. That stance is shocking. In it, you look like a malnourished frog sitting on a hot plate. You gonna fall off into a pile of manure. Toad. Silence, you punk. My form is traditional and robust. Trip. Robustly rubbish. Your center of gravity is all skew-whiff. You need to carve the corners, man. Lean into the turns. You're riding a horse, no a shopping trolley. Toad. Nonsense. When the starting pistol fires, it's all about sheer, unadulterated speed. Toad kicks Godfrey's ribs slightly. Godfrey. Ow. Watch the ribs. You fat nincompoop. You're ruining my dignity. Godfrey suddenly decides he's had enough and bucks gently. Toad flies forward, landing squarely on his back in a flower bed. Toad. Groaning. Weakly. Magnificently done, Godfrey. We've mastered the emergency dismount. Corky dutifully clicks his stopwatch. Corky. That was 1.4 seconds faster than yesterday's fall. Good progress. Godfrey. Shaking his head. We are doomed. Utterly, irrevocably doomed. The sun is shining. Ascot is a study in impeccable elegance. Massive green lawns, perfectly manicured hedges, and crowds of people in sharp suits and elaborate hats. Our crew, however, stands out like a splash of neon paint on a Renaissance canvas. Dawdle is wearing a large, practical sun hat and consulting a betting brochure. Barney is attempting to blend in by walking upright and wearing a slightly too small bow tie. Dawdle. Right. Everyone stick together. I've calculated the optimal viewing spot based on the projected wind patterns and the curvature of the track. If we stand here, we should see the most spectacular wipeout. Barney. Straining. Voice high. I hope someone important sees me. Perhaps a talent scout. I've been practicing my two-legged walk. Do I look like a prospective celebrity? Dawdle. Dawdle. You look like a dog trying to steal a sausage from a high shelf. Barney. Now. Quiet. Sfrandkaz, the hulking gummy bear barbarian, is drawing amazed stares. He is wearing his usual cloak, entirely oblivious to the modern clothing rules. He carries a massive, blunt object that might be a club. Sfrandkaz. Russian accent. Speaking to himself. So much civilization. So many tiny, fragile shoes. Where are the mud and the wolves? This is soft. Daniel, dressed smartly but plainly, is looking around, genuinely impressed by the scale and the sheer volume of wealth. Daniel, okay, I admit it. This is surprisingly impressive. It almost feels normal. Pat Clifton, don't worry, Daniel. Give it 5 minutes. Normalcy never lasts long when Toad is involved. A busy, brightly lit room inside the course. Stevie, a betting office clerk in a tight, short-sleeved shirt and glasses, stands behind a high-tech console, adopting a posture of bureaucratic martyrdom. Spuds and Joe Camel approach the counter. Spuds is clutching a poorly folded wad of cash. Spuds Mackenzie, evening, sunshine. Right, we need to place a rather substantial, yet perfectly legitimate wager on the Grand National. Thank you very much, Stevie, without looking up. Monotone. Form. Account number. Proof of funding origin. Joe Camel, leaning in. Smooth. Listen, mate, we're two respectable businessmen. Yeah, it's cash. It's clean. Put £1,000 on number 7 Godfrey. Odds are 25 to 1, if I'm not mistaken. Stevie finally looks up, adjusting his glasses, scanning their appearance. Joe's sunglasses. Spud's chaotic trench coat. Stevie, £1,000 cash on Godfrey, the grey and white nag ridden by that pompous amphibian? Are you seriously submitting this as a legitimate betting strategy? Spuds Mackenzie, it's a prophecy, you little pencil neck. It's destiny. It's the thrill of the chase. Now take the money before I use your head as a training cone. Stevie, tapping his keyboard aggressively. I need to run an AML, anti-money laundering, check on the tender. This is a substantial transaction for a first-time bettor on such a statistically improbable outcome. Joe Camel, a dangerous edge creeping into his voice. Listen, Stevie, my money is as clean as a JOCKEY's reputation. Just process the bet and print the slip. Yeah, we haven't got all day to argue with a man who peaked in secondary school detention. Stevie, I won't be threatened. And I'm checking the notes. This £50 note feels slightly damp. Possibly counterfeit? Spud slams his hands down on the counter. Stevie jumps back. Spuds Mackenzie, you're accusing me of fraud, you human calculator? Are you trying to wind up the Spuds? Because when I get wound up, things get messy. Stevie Rick male energy activated. Messy like a toddler eating spaghetti and then attempting to play the saxophone. Joe Camel, grabbing Spud's arm, restraining him slightly. Calm down, Spuds. He's not worth the prison time. Stevie, the note is acceptable. But I need your full names, addresses, and perhaps a brief explanation of why you believe an animal whose odds are 25-1 stands any chance against professional grade 1 steeplechasers. Spuds Mackenzie, because he's ridden by a madman. That's the strategy. Write that down. Spuds Mackenzie, address, everywhere and nowhere. Joe leans over the counter, his sunglasses reflecting the harsh office lights intimidatingly. Joe Camel, put the bet through, Stevie, and if Godfrey wins, I want you to personally hand me that 26 grand. Smiling, do you understand? Stevie, pale, nods quickly and prints the slip. Spud snatches it triumphantly. Spuds Mackenzie, victory is ours. See you later, you little stain on the tablecloth of life. They exit fast. Stevie wipes his forehead, muttering, Stevie, definitely illegal funds. Definitely. Jockeys and their horses are being prepped. It smells of sweat, leather, and expensive cologne. Toad is attempting to stretch his short legs, looking ridiculous in his oversized tangerine silks. Godfrey looks profoundly bored, occasionally stamping his hoof in protest. Several professional jockeys, hardened men with steely eyes, watch Toad with amused contempt. 1. Trent, a muscular man with a scarred face, approaches. Trent, lovely colors, mate. Did you borrow those from a children's television program? Toad, puffing out his chest. These, my dear man, are the silks of champions. They are bespoke, hand-stitched silk. And yours look dreadfully drab, like a freshly washed dishcloth. Are you sure you're racing, or merely cleaning up afterward? Trent scoffs. I've won the Gold Cup 3 times. You're a talking toad, and that horse looks like he's auditioning for a knackery advert. Toad, Godfrey is a creature of finesse. He's merely conserving his energy. Unlike your brutish beast, who looks like he ate too many pies and regrets every single life choice he's ever made. Godfrey lowers his head and sighs, loud enough for everyone to hear. Godfrey, will you stop insulting the professional riders? Toad, they are going to run us over. They are going to make us look like a novelty joke. Which, let's be fair, we are. Toad, silence. Godfrey, have confidence. We are here to dominate. Now, let me just adjust this strap. Toad reaches for the saddle, but misjudges his weight. He pulls the girth release lever instead of adjusting the buckle. With a heavy creak, the saddle and stirrup slide off Godfrey's back and hit the ground. Trent, conserving energy, is he? Toad stares horrified at the leather pile. Toad, a technical malfunction. Nothing to see here. Just testing the tensile strength of the ancillary equipment. Daniel is walking back from getting a coffee, feeling slightly overwhelmed by the sheer volume of hats. He bumps into a stunning woman, Erica Thorne. She is impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, radiating cool confidence and power. Erica Thorne, oh, apologies. I wasn't watching where I was going. Daniel, no, my fault. Too many fascinators and not enough focus. I'm Daniel. Erica Thorne. Erica, she smiles. A practiced, high wattage expression. You don't look like the usual Ascot crowd. You look grounded. Daniel, I promise I'm as ungrounded as they come. Erica, I'm actually just here supporting a friend of mine. He's a toad, and he's decided to ride his horse in the Grand National. Erica laughs. A genuine, surprised sound. Erica Thorne, a toad? Well, that would certainly be more entertaining than the usual procession of glorified quadrupeds. Who are you with? Daniel, just a group of friends. They're eccentric. I'm trying to figure out how I ended up here. Honestly, I'm usually slinging pints back in rural Britain. Erica Thorne, a bartender? Interesting. You have the look of a man with secrets. I like secrets. My father owns a significant portion of this entire event. You know, he's Mr. Thorne. Daniel, ah, so you're royalty, then. Erica Thorne, only by association. I'm responsible for the charity auction tonight. Listen, I have to go deal with a minor crisis involving a missing diamond necklace, but I'd like to finish this conversation. Are you staying for the evening events? Daniel, if my friend hasn't broken his neck, yes, I should be at the main bar after the race. Erica Thorne, perfect. I'll find you, and try not to let your toad friend get arrested before then. Erica slips away. Daniel watches her go, temporarily forgetting the absurdity of his life. From behind a nearby hedge, Kathy, Carmel Bunny, and Constance emerge. Kathy is calculating. Carmel looks sultry, and Constance is merely curious. Kathy, to Carmel, look at that. The second he gets near a woman with actual career prospects, he's glowing. Carmel Bunny, West Country drawl. She's far too sharp for him. Kathy, and far too expensive. That suit probably cost his entire bar salary for a year. Constance, she looks like a rival. I don't like rivals. What are we going to do? Daniel needs to focus on enjoying our company. Kathy, we intervene. Discreetly, of course. We've seen how easily Daniel is distracted by shiny, powerful women. We need to remind him that he belongs back in Rye, where the women are interesting, complex, and only wear pink ribbons. Carmel Bunny, or nothing at all. Kathy, exactly. We'll wait for the bar later. It's time to be creative. Tension is high. The 40 runners are lined up. Toad is back on Godfrey, having secured the saddle with several haphazard knots and what looks like duct tape. Jockey, Trent, shouting at Toad, hey, get ready to be embarrassed. Amphibian, Toad, my dear man, you simply misunderstand the elegance of my approach. I intend to gallop with the force of 1,000 steam engines. Godfrey, whispering to Toad, if you mention steam engines one more time, I'm going to bolt and run straight out of the country. I want a refund on my last 3 years of life. Starter, OS, jockeys, ready. Toad grips the reins so tightly his knuckles turn white. Supertid flies past overhead, circling the track. Supertid, good luck, Toad. Remember to be safe. And don't forget your special magic word. Toad, muttering, yes, yes, boing, whatever. The starter's pistol fires. A huge rush of horses thunders away. Godfrey starts slowly, trotting out of the gate with dignity, already 10th from last. Toad, faster. Godfrey, where is the urgency? Godfrey, I refuse to be rushed. I am building momentum. I'm still sore from those dreadful training exercises. They approach the first fence. A hefty brush hurdle. The professional horses soar over. Toad and Godfrey lag behind. Toad, right. Brace yourself. Godfrey, maximum velocity. Toad leans forward dramatically, nearly tipping off. Godfrey complies, but he clears the fence with a distinct clonk, knocking some brush loose. Sam and Pat are watching through binoculars. Sam Payton, he's cleared the first. That's already a miracle. Pat Clifton, he looks like a sack of potatoes in a washing machine. Sam. Spuds is screaming hysterically, waving his betting slip. Spuds Mackenzie, come on. Godfrey, you miserable equine. Think of the sweet income tax fraud. Ride like the wind. Joe Camel, he's holding back. Spuds, he's pacing. He's taking them by surprise. Smart, he takes a drag on a cigarette, or he's already broken. Godfrey approaches the infamous fence. It looks terrifying. Godfrey, oh, heavens above, that is preposterous. That is structurally unsound. No Yorkshire stallion should ever have to clear that. Toad, we must jump. Godfrey, jump. Now. Godfrey jumps, but he miscalculates, hitting the top rail hard. The impact sends Toad flying upwards. He grabs the mane, hanging onto Godfrey's neck. Toad, steady. I'm losing gravity. I need a seat. Godfrey, you needed a diet. As they land, the jolt causes the duct-taped saddle to finally give way. The saddle and stirrups fly into the face of Jockey Trent, who is trying to overtake them. Jockey, Trent, AAGH, my eye. Trent's horse shies, causing a domino effect. 3 horses are momentarily tangled up by the flying saddle paraphernalia. Godfrey, suddenly untethered and unencumbered by the extra weight, finds his true pace. Godfrey, oh, now that's much better. I feel so light. Look at me go. Godfrey suddenly surges ahead, a grey blur, now running out of spite and relief. Toad, still hanging onto the mane, now airborne and screaming. I'm riding bareback. This is exhilarating. I'm flying. The leader is only yards ahead. Godfrey, running purely on adrenaline and sheer hatred of being mounted by Toad, is catching up fast. Godfrey, I'm doing it. I'm actually beating the sleek ones. Toad, we're going to win. This is genius. Toad, in his excitement, tries to give Godfrey an encouraging pat. He loses his grip entirely and is flung sideways just before the finish line, landing in a heap of turf and tangerine silk. Godfrey, jockey-less, crosses the finish line in second place, mere inches behind the leader. Spuds stares, breathless. Spuds Mackenzie, second. He came second, but Toad fell off. Does that count? I need to know the official ruling on airborne amphibians. Joe Camel, cheering, despite himself. He was past the post. Spuds. The horse was unseated, but they finished. We still get a payout. Not the full win, but enough for a decent profit. 25 grand, baby. The bar is exclusive. Dark wood and crystal glasses, filled with the wealthy and well-dressed. Toad, surprisingly unscathed but deeply disgruntled by his second place finish, is drinking champagne directly from the bottle. Godfrey is nowhere to be seen, presumably dealing with the press and an ice bath. Daniel is engaged in meaningful conversation with Erica Thorne. Erica Thorne, second place is still impressive. Daniel, especially considering the jockey was apparently hanging on like a handbag. Daniel, that's Toad. He fails upward. He's already started planning his next venture, speed dating in a hot air balloon. Erica Thorne, leaning closer. You're so wonderfully cynical. Tell me more about why you're really here. You clearly don't belong in the pub you work in, and you certainly don't belong with that group. You have the weight of the world behind your eyes. Daniel hesitates, caught between his reality and the persona he maintains. Daniel, it's complicated. I don't exactly know how to get home. I just got stuck here, and I'm finding my way through. Erica Thorne, a man lost in time. I like that. My father, by the way, is furious about the saddle incident. Apparently, Toad's flying equipment caused quite the scandal in the steward's box. Suddenly, Jockey Trent, one eye slightly bandaged, strides into the bar, glowering. He spots Toad. Jockey Trent, you ridiculous, clumsy little animal. You sabotaged me. That saddle nearly took my eye out. Toad, my dear chap, it was a mere aerodynamic mishap. It was a gift. You should consider it a valuable lesson in keeping your distance from genius. Trent grabs the nearest bottle of champagne, a heavy, full bottle, and hurls it, aiming for Toad's head. The bottle whizzes past Toad's ear and smashes the mirror behind the bar. Chaos erupts. Toad screams and dives behind the bar. Toad, how dreadfully inconsiderate. That was Mort. COCKYS, who had been quietly contemplating a tiny cheese board, sees the violence and springs into action, roaring with warrior glee. COCKYS, modern civilization. Finally, something I understand. Battle. COCKYS grabs a nearby marble bust and uses it as a blunt instrument against Trent's security detail, who immediately jump in. Nat, the punk ogre, leaps onto a table. Nat, time for a proper rumble. Get involved. Nat starts kicking glasses and throwing decorative flowers. Trip, the skeleton, finds a perfect opportunity. Trip, finally, some action. Get your mosh on. Trip uses a polished banister rail to slide, knocking waiters flat. Dick Spanner PI produces a small, polished pistol, though he doesn't fire it. Dick Spanner PI, just another rainy night in the soul. Looks like the champagne's on the house. Boys, Joe Camel and Spuds McKenzie, having just collected their winnings, jump into the fray, seeing a chance to intimidate Stevie, the betting clerk, who has wandered in to check on the damage. Spuds McKenzie, Stevie, see, chaos is profitable. What were you saying about statistical improbability? Stevie, hiding behind a pillar. This is why we need stricter betting limits. And police. Daniel pulls Erica out of the immediate danger zone. Daniel, we need to get out of here. My friends are very enthusiastic about property damage. Erica Thorne, eyes wide, but excited. My father will kill me, but this is incredible. Daniel and Erica manage to find a relatively quiet, cordoned off booth near the edge of the bar, attempting to maintain their conversation above the din of broken glass and COCKYS' barbarian grunts. Erica Thorne, it sounds like you've been through a lot. You're brave to admit you're lost. Daniel, I just want to find a way back to my family. But sometimes, when things like this happen, he gestures vaguely toward the escalating fight. It's hard to remember what normal even feels like. Erica Thorne, maybe you're not meant to go back to normal. Maybe you're meant for something bigger. Daniel leans in, feeling a genuine connection. Suddenly, the trio arrives. Cavi, Carmel, and Constance. They glide up to the booth, striking poses that are simultaneously seductive and highly unsettling, effectively boxing Daniel in. Cavi is clearly the ringleader. Cavi, Daniel, there you are, sugar. We've been looking for you. Daniel, Cavi, hi. This is Erica. Erica offers a cool, polite nod. Erica Thorne, nice to meet you. Carmel Bunny, leaning over Daniel with a purr. Oh, but Daniel has already told us all about you, hasn't he, darling? Constance, yes. He said you were perfect. Just perfect for what we had planned tonight. Erica looks confused, then suspicious. Erica Thorne, planned? Cavi, voice dripping with fake sincerity. Don't be shy, Daniel. We're all adults here. Erica, you see, Daniel is part of our dynamic. We're a very close-knit unit. A threesome, really. But we sometimes like to branch out. Daniel, wait, what? No, I'm not. Carmel Bunny, ignoring Daniel, West Country accent thick with implication. We've been looking for a lovely, sophisticated fourth for tonight. A woman of your caliber, with those cheekbones. We thought, why, Erica would be simply divine for our foursome. Constance, we need the balance. Daniel gets so rough when he's just with us. We need someone gentle to manage him. Are you ready to join us, Erica? We can get started as soon as we leave this dreadful fight. Erica's jaw drops. Her eyes narrow as she looks at Daniel, feeling profoundly lied to and insulted. Erica Thorne, voice dangerously low. A foursome? Are you telling me you're a swinger, Daniel, and that you brought your harem of, forgive me, cartoon characters to Ascot to recruit me. Daniel, Erica, please. This is a lie. They are completely. Kathy, waving a dismissive hand. He's just saying that because he's a little shy about his particular needs. Honestly, Erica, you'd be doing him a favor. He needs variety, and we're willing to share. Erica snatches her glass of white wine and, without hesitation, throws the entire contents directly into Daniel's face. Erica Thorne, get away from me, you pathetic, promiscuous bartender, and take your barefoot circus with you. Daniel sputters, wiping wine from his eyes. Daniel, this is exactly why I can't have nice things. Kathy, Carmel, and Constance, having achieved their objective, immediately take offense at the barefoot circus remark. Kathy, oh, excuse me, you call us a circus? Carmel Bunny, we are sophisticated seductresses. Constance, a flash of unexpected fury, nobody throws wine at our friend, especially not a person wearing such sensible shoes. Kathy steps forward, abandoning all pretense of subtlety. Kathy, you are clearly intimidated by our physical prowess and our superior style. Darling. Erica scoffs. Erica Thorne, you're wearing a ribbon around your neck. Rabbit. And you. To Kathy, you're standing on expensive carpet in your bare feet. Kathy lets out a guttural, primal yell. The catfight begins. Kathy, Carmel, and Constance descend on Erica. Kathy grabs Erica's immaculately styled hair. Carmel Bunny attempts a low sweep with her foot, and Constance starts wildly trying to pull Erica's suit jacket off. Erica, despite her sophistication, is not defenseless. She screams and fights back, ripping a piece of Kathy's dress. The fight is a whirlwind of sharp nails, expensive tailoring tearing, and high-pitched screeches, adding a new, highly specific level of mayhem to the existing drunken brawl. The general bar fight pauses slightly, as the men, including the barbarians and the punk, watch the catfight in stunned admiration. Toad, peeking over the bar, now that is sporting. They really need to incorporate this into the Grand National. Spuds Mackenzie, go on, ladies, rip those designer threads. Show us the raw power of feminine rage. Daniel stands soaked in wine, watching the scene unfold with utter exhaustion. Daniel, to himself, I just want to go home. I just want to be back in my own bed. Hours later, the Rye crew is gathered near the main gate. The police have cleared the bar. No one was arrested, thanks to Dick Spanner's fast talking and a few poorly executed mind tricks by Super Ted. Toad is holding a silver-plated ice bucket on his head, claiming it helps with concussion. Corky, Nat, and Trip are counting up the broken glass in their pockets as souvenirs. Erica Thorne is gone, presumably filing a multi-million-pound lawsuit against everyone. Kathy, Carmel, and Constance are slightly bruised but triumphant, preening over their successful sabotage. Kathy, well, that sorted her out. Daniel can thank us later. Carmel Bunny, she was far too bossy, and frankly, her shoes were an abomination. Daniel walks over, still damp. Daniel, I wouldn't thank you if you handed me a winning lottery ticket. You just ruined the only normal conversation I've had in months with a ridiculous, manipulative lie. Constance, but Daniel, we just wanted you all to ourselves. We just want to love you. Daniel, I'm not running a polyamorous cult. Constance, I'm in a coma, and I have a family. Toad, triumphantly, well, it was a magnificent day out, wasn't it? Second place. A spectacular brawl. We've made quite the impression on the sporting world. Godfrey, who has been standing patiently by, finally speaks up, utterly defeated. Godfrey, second place doesn't matter. Toad, I'm banned from racing. I'm being investigated by the Equine Welfare Board, and I have hay fever. Take me home. I need a lie down. Spuds and Joe Camel are celebrating their winnings. Joe lighting a fresh cigarette. Joe Camel, 25 grand. Spuds, we should have bet on a race riot. 2. Spuds Mackenzie, next time. Joe, next time. We'll bet on the divorce proceedings. Daniel looks at the chaotic crowd of friends. The battered Toad, the triumphant saboteurs, the celebrating hustlers, the silent barbarian, and the depressed horse. Dick Spanner PI, tipping his hat to Daniel. Another day, Daniel. Just another day under the neon glow of the impossible. Daniel sighs, accepting the absurdity once more. Daniel, right. Let's go home. I need to clean wine off my suit before I start pouring pints again tomorrow. The group trundles off into the surreal night, leaving the immaculate, but now slightly damaged, Ascot racecourse behind them.